So today I was supposed to do my first video talking about yesterday game between Sporting KC versus Austin FC, which I did able to watch the full match yesterday, and I decided to do the review today because by the time I finished watching the full match yesterday, it was around midnight, and I didn't want to do a review right around that time. But instead, we are going to talk about some breaking news that happened this morning, and in some way, I would say this kind of came out of left field. Like, a day ago, there was a report that Columbus was indeed going to do a rebrand, and that they are actually going to rebrand themselves as Columbus SC instead of Columbus Crew. And they also decided to change the logo, and in some way, they're basically going with the same route that Montreal and Chicago did in this past year. Now, I thought that was kind of just a joke because I didn't think that they were even thinking about dropping the Crew name, and especially how the Crew name has been such a historic nickname in MLS, and it's been such a name that has just really identified Columbus ever since they came into the league in 1996. I didn't think that they would dare to think about dropping the name. Well, on Monday, it was announced that they officially have rebranded their name, and they have indeed dropped their Crew name by basically rebranding their name from Columbus Crew to now officially being Columbus SC. Now, obviously, there's no doubt that there's been outrage in the Crew fan base, and rightfully so. I mean, this seems like a huge slap in the face with the way that it seems like the club is trying to destroy the culture and the history that this club has been ever since this team was in this league all the way back in day one in 1996. But the front office did try their best to kind of tell Crew fan that they're not officially dropping the Crew name. They're going to actually just kind of use it as a nickname, and that they're going to say that they're still going to call themselves the Crew, but they're going to kind of do something similar to what Minnesota United did, where Minnesota United, they're always known as the Loons, and I can understand why maybe Minnesota decide not to call themselves Minnesota Loons instead or decide to call themselves Minnesota United instead of Minnesota Loons, because I don't think Minnesota Loons really kind of roll off the tongue a little bit. So that's why they decided to go with Minnesota United. But obviously, a lot of Minnesota fans have basically said that their name is called the Loons, and they usually go with the nickname itself. And it seems like Columbus is trying to do the same thing right now, but obviously this does not satisfy the fans. And unlike the whole Minnesota situation, Minnesota was never called the Minnesota Loons. They are called Minnesota United, and it's only the fans basically decided to use the nickname the Loons instead of actually calling the actual name of the club. And for Columbus, they've been the Columbus Crew since 1996, and again, it just feels like it's a huge slap in the face with the way that they decided to drop this name, and that they also decided to rebrand their logo. And I'll show you guys the logo that they decided to rebrand, which is this one right here. Now, when I first look at this rebrand, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think it's as bad as what people had think it is. I mean, I know a lot of Columbus fans, besides the fact that they're upset that the front office is dropping the Crew name, but also the fact that they decided to change the logo, which the current logo that they have, well, now the former logo that they had, I think that was one of the best in the league, and obviously a lot of Crew fans are very upset the fact that they changed it to the new one that looks absolutely hideous. But for me, I don't think it's as bad as it is. I mean, I guess maybe the thing that makes it hideous is this big C right here. But I think this logo does have some history with the way that it's a very unique shape, unlike any other in the league. And I always love to see teams that use a unique kind of shape of logo, because I've seen many times before the pattern with all these new teams that decide to go with their logos are kind of like just circle kind of logos that seems very, very boring. But this vector shape, it does kind of represent Columbus a little bit, because this is actually the same shape if you actually put it like this way. Oh well, my phone unfortunately does not able to put it diagonally. But if you put it on its side, it actually looks exactly almost the same shape as the Ohio flag. And knowing the fact that Columbus is the capital of Ohio, it makes sense that they decided to kind of pay tribute in terms of the state of Columbus. And they did keep the black and gold kind of color, which is something that I know if they would have got rid of it, it would have been even angered the fan base, who right now they're already angry that they decided to drop the crew name, even more with the way that the black and gold color is also a very historic color that has been representing the Columbus Crew ever since they came into the league in 1996. But nevertheless, I mean, again, I know a lot of Crew fans, they do not like the fact that their name has been dropped, and the front office is trying to kind of sugarcoat it and saying that we're just going to keep the Crew name, even though technically we're officially known as Columbus SC. And also the new logo itself, where people think that they should never got rid of that circle logo, where again, that circle logo, there's some very iconic things I like about it, with the 96, which is where when the Crew was found, and also the checker pattern on the former logo. And anytime when there is a checker pattern in a logo, I instantly like, because for some reason I always tends to like the checkerboard pattern in any team's logo, or even in their jerseys that they wear. So it's kind of disappointing that they decided to get rid of that in this new logo. But that being said, I think this logo does still have some identity that represent Columbus, and it's not like what we saw with Montreal, Houston, and even the Chicago Fire logo, where their rebrand, I don't see how it actually represent the city itself. And also, for those of you wondering, well, why exactly the ownership decided to all of a sudden change this new the team name and decided to go with a rebrand. Well, there's maybe a couple of reason, and I'm not quite sure if these reason is going to please Columbus fan. Well, I don't think it's going to please anyone, because again, they're still very angry about this, and it seems like the whole Save the Crew kind of movement that we had back in 2017, where we were trying to, or actually I think it was 2018 that we had that movement. And unfortunately, I don't have the t-shirt anymore. I do still have the scarf, but it seems like that might be coming back, with the way that a lot of Crew fan wants to now demanding their front office to keep the Crew name and pretty much just take it back, instead of just dropping it like they did right now. But the reason why maybe they decided to change its name is they see that it seems like we're starting to see a pattern where teams are kind of starting to head toward those European generic name. And I said it before, I really hate the trend that MLS has decided to go with. A lot of these teams go with like the SC, United, FC kind of name, and I feel like all these nickname that is still in the league. And this also kind of makes me worry about one of my other team that I support, which is the San Jose Earthquakes, and I'm worried the Quakes are going to try to drop the Earthquakes name and decide to call themselves San Jose SC or San Jose FC, because it seems like this might give them an idea to potentially do that. And it could be also the same with all the other teams that still have a unique nickname, like the Seattle Sounder, the Portland Timbers, although I don't think the Cascadia team is probably going to do that. They have too much time with the fan base that decide to do so. But it could be the same with the Vancouver Whitecaps, Colorado Rapids, and even the Houston Dynamo. They even thought about doing it, and I think in some way they kind of was smart enough to not get rid of the Dynamo name when they decide to do the rebrand. But obviously, I still hear a lot of Dynamo fans are very pissed off with the new logo that they decided to brand itself. And also the same goes with the Chicago Fire. There was talks that maybe they were going to get rid of the Fire name, but it seems like they decided to keep it, and I think that was the only good thing that kind of came out of their rebrand. But I think with the way that the current trend seems to be, where teams are going to go with these generic European kind of soccer name, I think a lot of teams are kind of heading into that direction too, and Columbus decided to kind of accept that. And not to mention that Columbus, they are also, another reason why I think they might go with a rebrand is that they're moving into a new stadium. And we've seen this before, where teams maybe decide to go into a new new stadium. They think it's kind of like a new era, and especially with the way that they just had a new ownership a year ago, and that it just feels like this is a new era for the Columbus Crew, finally moving away from that dark clouded era under Anthony Precourt, that this might be a time for them to kind of maybe remove that brand that they used to have that maybe associated with Anthony Precourt, and basically decide to rebrand to the one that is kind of like the new era of Columbus. So yeah, I think that probably is the only other reason I can think of. Maybe that's why they decided to do a rebrand, but like I said, a lot of Columbus Crew fans are not happy about this, and I will be interested to see in these upcoming days, weeks, or even months whether or not if Columbus is going to do something about that, because you know this team, it does have a huge tie with the fan base, and that, you know, so far what ever since Precourt is no longer the owner of this team, and the Haslam family basically they take over this team, they definitely have created a good relationship with the fans. And you know, this seems kind of like a huge gut punch, and kind of a huge sucker punch out of nowhere to Crew fan. The fact that this ownership has done a great job in terms of actually getting this team back to the glory day that they have, and also winning an MLS Cup, and all of a sudden they decided to do the one thing you do not want to do if you want to continue to have a good relationship with your fans, which is decided to get rid of a historic name in your team identity, and basically go with one of those generic European soccer names, as we have seen so much of that happen in the past couple of years. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this. And again, I think we're going to once again have kind of like that save the crew kind of moment. And again, I still have I still have the scarves, and we are going to once again go with the save the crew movement. I'm definitely ready to wear that scarf again, and it's a shame the fact that I don't have the t-shirt anymore. I couldn't actually find the t-shirt, as you know, I did kind of look at everywhere, and if I actually did find it, I would have definitely wear this t-shirt in terms of talking about this video. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this situation, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.